Good morning, everybody. It is 8:16 a.m. It is May 9th. Hope everybody had a good day yesterday. Um, some balancing yesterday in the markets. Um, had a couple PayPal, Palantir reporting. Um, those earnings came out. A couple other things in the news. Um, Obviously, the crypto market yesterday, with Bitcoin and stuff like that, where Binance shut off withdrawals. That was a little crazy. Um, that's what's going on right now. And we got CPI tomorrow, big news day tomorrow. So let's just without further ado, let's just get into the introduction. If you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile and market profile along with supply and demand and gamma levels, GEX exposure levels, which have really been assisting my trading. So we create a plan every day with the ES, the NASDAQ, and then of course stocks, right? So that's what we do here. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. That is Gonzo719, and it will also on Instagram, Gonzo719 Jersey. Okay, and as always, please try to build the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Much appreciated. Set an alert. That would be awesome. Yesterday, I had a long on Google. That was my only trade of the day. Pretty decent trade. I think it was like 150% winner. I made a short for that. So if you want to check my channel for the short, I put that on Instagram and I put it on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, check it out. If you guys have any questions about it, let me know. Put them in the comments. That would be great. And let's get into the watch list. All right, so what do we have here? VIX is elevated, up 3.36%. Bitcoin's up 1.81. Ether up 1.23. 30-year bonds being bought up 0.43. Dollars up 0.29. Gold's up 0.26, above that 2K. 10-year yield doesn't report to 320. That will come out in a couple minutes. Silver is slightly down. Dow is down 0.31. ES down 0.33. Russell down 0.44. Nasdaq's down 0.46. Crude is down 0.9. Now, China just came out with poor trade data for imports. So not doing as well as expected, hence why crude dropped. So that's what's going on there. Actually, the regional banks, after I believe PacWest lowered their dividend, made the stock go up yesterday, but now the regional bank sector is getting hurt again today. So that's bringing the Russell down, obviously, financials. So that's what's going on there. Let's move on. All right, so Google, that was one of my longs yesterday. That's holding. It's up at 108 right now. So pretty strong. Communication sector was pretty strong yesterday. Pretty strong. Um, Now I saw Boeing had some kind of defect in some jet or something like that. I mean, the news, but it's been kind of weak as of late. So have to keep a look on that. Coin's flat. But let's go with some laggards. Got Snow. NVIDIA's down 0.69. That 290 level seems to be hard for it to stay over at. Tesla's down almost 1% at 0.95. I did see that China is making some strides in their own EVs. But Tesla, I saw, we'll get into the news a little later. I think they're starting their own lithium battery factory. So I have to make sure of that when I put the news. BABA, with the China trade data, not sure if that's affecting it, but it also got a downgrade from Mizuno. So that's down 2.69%. Now I'm still interested in BABA if it holds around this 81 level. That's a gamma foot point. So I'm pretty interested in that. It's been beaten down, but it's at the bottom of the range lately, so I'll keep an eye on that. Let's go with the top sector stocks, right? Disney, did they report yet? Disney reports tomorrow. Okay. Now, whole thing with that, let's talk about that, right? I didn't touch on Netflix, but the writers are having a strike. So obviously it's going to affect everything in Hollywood, right? So Stranger Things is being delayed, certain shows for Disney's being delayed, Handmaid's Tale, all this stuff. So they're having a strike. So there's not much leaders here. So let's just go to the laggards. We got Roblox, Qualcomm, and Exxon. Okay. Moving on to the sectors. All right. So there's not a leader at all. Everything's negative. So let's just go down to the laggards. Technology, right? That's going to be your NVDA. All right. Energy and semis obviously is NVIDIA. Okay. And Qualcomm. So that's down 0.87. All right. Let's move over to the economic calendar, which there's not much to speak of here. So we'll just talk about some market news here. This is just more for the week. Today, there's not much. And then tomorrow, of course, you have all the CPI data at 8:30. All right, followed by Thursday, jobless claims, PPI. That's what we have on the dock. All right, so as far as news, still talking about this debt ceiling. I talked about the Pac West and Western Alliance slide. We can talk about the Tesla. Of course, Lucid's got kind of hurt. Palantir's up big time. PayPal's down. Let's see. Just Amazon's paying customers to pick up their merchandise instead of getting it shipped. There's the writer strike that I talked about from Comcast, Netflix, Paramount, all that. McDonald's is getting sued. LinkedIn's going to lay all people off. I guess Microsoft owns them. Tesla. Here you go. Tesla EV maker on Monday broke ground on Texas lithium refinery that CEO Elon Musk said should produce enough battery metal to build about 1 million electric vehicles. The facility will push Tesla outside its core focus of building automobiles into the complex area of lithium refining and processing. Musk said Tesla aimed to finish construction of the factory next year and then reach full production. So that's the news for that. And that's about it for the news, I would say. We can get right into the daily charts. Let's do that. Okay, so let's zoom in here. So yesterday, kind of like a little bit of a doji day, right? We opened here, pushed all the way down to the 20 simple day moving average and basically the ADMA. Found some buyers, but basically a nothing day. Okay, basically a nothing day. Anchor VWAPs all above them. So for the last two FOMCs, the average buyer is making money. Okay, but we're just in the middle of the muddle here. I want to show you the volume profile on SPY just to give you an example here. So this is the month. This profile is the last 30 days. This is the last month, right? Look how balanced that profile is. And look where price is. 413, 412 is the most traded price the last 30 days. So that just shows you how much balance we're in. Okay, we're going to break out of it, don't know when. But that just shows you the balance in the SPY. Okay, so that's SPY. Let's go to the Qs. Here's the overall profile. You can see we're building a lot of volume here, right? And let's just zoom in to see what we did. Okay, so Q's was a little stronger, right? Because we opened here, right? Came down, closed towards the top of the range at the top of this resistance, right? That's a key resistance level, 323 in the Q's. Okay, so anchored VWAP still there, supportive. This didn't even touch these moving averages, right? So let's look at the difference in the profiles with the Q's. So the Q's have kind of more of like a bullish imbalance skew, right? You can notice the majority of the volume is from all the way up here, and then you get thinning volume. So the Q's are looking up like they're going to move higher. They're not as balanced as the SPY. Okay, let's move on. Let's go to the Dow. See, the Dow is even imbalanced for the last year. It's at around the most traded price. It's around 338 of a year ago from today. Okay, so let's just zoom in here. And what did the Dow do? Opened here, came down here, found some love, some buyers, right in between, got resistance at the 20 simple moving average, got support at the 80 MA daily. Okay, again, let's look at the profile here. Look at that balance. Very balanced profile of the last 30 days. So very balanced. It's not skewed either way. And that's why CPI tomorrow could make a move. Definitely make a move in these indexes. Okay? Let's move on to the Russell, the weakest of the bunch. Right? So the Russell, look at this profile over the last year. It's at the bottom of that profile. Right here. It's still trading around the most traded price of the last year, around 173, 172, 173, right? Let's zoom in here. So that big move down, and you just been holding that move down, right? Yesterday opened up, came down here, closed here. Okay, hit the 20-day simple moving average resistance. Had the anchor VWAP from the last FOMC, acted as support. Okay, let's look at that profile the last 30 days. Now that's a little different looking, right? Building out value here, but a lot of volume up here. So that's kind of skewed a little bit to the, if we return back up here, you could finally pop out of here. But those regional banks have been hurting this index. Okay. Let's go moving on. Let's go to that triple-headed monster, okay? Let's just go zoom in here. Okay. So yields are kind of opening a little. They finished here, but we're right at 3.4 right now. Just in this range, though, right? They haven't picked a side yet. They break out of here. Let's just put a level here. That looks like a level that I can work with here, right there. Move over 3.6, you got a chance to do something here. The market could move lower, or you break it down here. Let's put a level down here at 3.2. If you break that, then obviously the market could go higher. But this is usually a leading indicator. It's smart money, so keep an eye on that. Let's go to the VIX. Right, so the VIX is got that big candle here. Now we're holding still below the 17.93. You want to see 18 and over to see some more downside movement. If you go back to 15, obviously we probably make a move higher. And the dollar's just been just like kind of like the bond market. We got our doji land, and we just been in this little range right here, right? So really just right there in this range. It's making a move kind of right now. It's engulfing yesterday. Okay, so but I don't know. It's been not that strong, and not that well. It's been weak overall, but it's like just not moving. But that's a pretty decent candle right now. But you can't really that happens, and then it could turn into a doji, right? So let's go move over to the market profile and volume profile. We'll talk about that. My favorite tool. Let's get my trusty marker out. Alright, so just like in the SPY, that big profile I showed you, you can see the monthly profile here. So very symmetrical bell curvy profile. That's just showed in the SPY, right? But then we look at, what do we look at here? We look at the last week. So last week has a big distribution here and a distribution here. So double distribution. Okay. Now what happened yesterday? Let's look at our key levels. Now the most traded price of the week, the month, the year is right here. 41.50. Now price is below that. Price is below that right now. Okay. So short term, that is bearish that we're below that. You want to be above this level to go long, right? And then below us, right now we hit monthly VWAP 41.33 right there in the overnight, right? The one thing is these single prints. Okay, if we break this monthly VWAP, we most likely will clean out these single prints and start working into this gap, waiting for wait for CPI if there's further weakness, right? So because overall, remember 41.37 is the 50% retracement of the move. We're still holding that. Okay, but now you want to see the market kind of come above this level and hold it in order for it to move higher. Obviously, this monthly VWAP is very pivotal here. If it can hold it and you move across, you could definitely go higher. But if we break it, we're probably going back here and maybe all the way down to the 50-day moving average to wait for CPI. Right? All right. Now let me open this up a little bit. You can get a little bigger. And look at this a little more closer, right? Let's look at where we're at in relation to stuff. So this is the overnight high, overnight low, right at the monthly VWAP, right? Yesterday's high, yesterday's low. Okay, so just to give you a little nuance here, whenever overnight low makes a new low, that's usually not a secure low. Usually the new lows usually aren't just made in overnight. They're made in the real-time trading hour session. So this is possibly not the low. Okay. So price is right at the lower end of the range of yesterday. Okay, now what else do I see, right? Well, look where we closed. We closed here and the overnight opened here. All the long was that. That's it. So we're basically almost 100% net short overnight. You got a little bit of single prints right here. And we're building volume out right here. So what I could see is this possibility for a fade off the open. Okay. And you got this big level. And we got supply here and supply here. So it's going to be tough to just power through up, right? But we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. Okay. So I'm going to give, we're below these big levels. So I'm going to give my short assessment first. So let's get into the plan here. Okay, so we know we have this big level huge level. Okay, so we already know we're 100% net short. All right, so what I could see happening, the market could push down here, find support, could come up to these levels into this supply and to this monster level, right? That's where it could start getting resistance. And that's where I could see if you do get some lower highs, the market could move down back to these overnight lows. And then if it gets, overall market is weak, it gets some volume, I think we definitely could come down here, start cleaning these singles. Now, this single prints, okay, aren't going to have much support. But if they do, then that is a pause for concern. But if they don't, with volume, you should take these out. And then you go right to the top of a gap. And then you could go right into fill the gap into this demand zone. Now, it's a big move. I'm not sure if that happens, but you just have to keep your mind open to it. Of course, we could still come up here, the market come up towards yesterday's highs, same thing, and then you would just, the market could move here, then overnight low, and then it could move here. Okay. Now, as far as the long side, right? What I do like is this overnight 100% net short, right? Now you need this price to stay down here. That's what I'd like to see. So if you want to take the long, okay, if you think the market, like I think it's right now, it's a little overly short, and you stay down here, the market could do something like this. It could push down, try to go below that monthly VWAP, come back up. Now, this is the most traded price overnight, so just be very conscious of this level. That's why it's great to look at the volume profile, okay? The most trades have been happening here, and those trades are going to be shorts. So if we come through that area and hold, the market could push up, right into this huge area, huge level of 4150. And then it's got some work to do. It's got some work to do. Got to cut through the supply, cut through this major level, go to yesterday's high, and it really would have a lot of work to do to move higher. And how much higher? I don't know. We have CPI tomorrow. That's the one long I can see. Other than that, the next demand zone's all the way down here. Okay, that's really the only thing I can see that is a good opportunity. Because overall, we could just balance today, okay? So, always door number 3, the market could just, this major level, right? Think of it as like a seesaw, the middle of a seesaw. So the market could do this today. Play off the VWAP, hit the top of yesterday's highs, do this around this level, and then end up in this level, 4150. I mean, it is the most traded price of the last year, the month, and the week, and yesterday. So it's just a magnet. Balance before a big data comes out tomorrow. Okay? So that's the ES. Let's move over to the NASDAQ, right? Now the NASDAQ is weaker right now than the ES. Okay? So of course, we have our monthly profile, right? We have our weekly profile, double distribution. So 2 distributions there. We have our key level of 132. So this is a really big level, and the NASDAQ's above it. It's holding above this level. Okay, it's holding above it, 132. So as long as the Nasdaq stays above this, you have to be bullish in the Nasdaq. Okay, so it's a different story in the ES, right? So now we want to look at what we're doing now. Okay, so we got our overnight low, overnight high, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. So we're inside yesterday's range. However, though, we're 100% net short. So now that I'm looking at the NASDAQ, okay, this is setting up for a possibly a little bit of a breakout. Not, I don't think it's going to be all out, but a little bit, because the way it's set up here. Okay, it's more set up for a long. Because now you have 100% net short in the overnight. You're at the bottom of the range, and where you're holding yesterday's most traded price, and you're in a demand zone. So totally different. It's really two different like planets, these two indexes. So this could very well be a nice long. Okay. So as far as the Nasdaq, it's above the major references, so we have to be biased long. Okay. And just based off this, the move up, and we're accepting higher prices. That's bullish. Okay. You're accepting these prices higher. Now, can we move this price, 132, the most traded price of the week, up here? That's maybe more bullish. And now, just to let you know, it did happen in the 24-hour session. It did move it higher. But let's see if it happens in the RTH session. Okay, so you got double distribution, like I said. Now, two different stories here, right? So let's get into the plan, right? I like this NASDAQ the way it's looking. Okay, so now the midpoint, just to be clear, 132.41 is the 50% Fibonacci of that big move. We have not even touched that in NASDAQ. Okay, we did not touch it. So this is what I'm seeing. Okay, now let's talk about the long, because it really I really like this. Okay, now in the Nasdaq, we have the 100% net short. We're at the bottom of the range, which is perfect. What I'd like to see, it even push farther, a little bit down, maybe towards yesterday's lows, right? And if we can't break this demand and we start getting lower highs, well, this is going to queue up the energy here, because there's shorts, right? All in here. This is going to give liquidity for this move. So what I'd like to see is farther shorts, and then take over the most traded price of yesterday and try to start making a move. It could go to the overnight high, then test yesterday's high, and then I think possibly get a little breakout for CPI tomorrow to 134. Okay, in this big supply zone, and then possibly just correct. The market might correct before the close. Okay, that's one. That's what I'll be looking for. Now, will a stock match up and I might choose to trade the stock over that? Yes. But it all depends. Okay, it all depends. Now, the other long is if the market was to come down, break yesterday's lows, and now you have these big levels of 132 to deal with. Okay, And if we hold that, well, then you could possibly see the market go back up again into this range. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Now, as far as the bearish side of this, okay, couple things here. If we don't manage to break out, obviously we can make the move that I said with the long into this supply. And then that's when we start getting weakness. And you could probably target the day developing volume POC from the day, which I don't know would be yesterday's most traded price. And then we could finally reach the overnight low. And then if there's farther weakness, you go to this major level of 132. Outside chance, if the market is crazy weak, then you could find ourselves going all the way down, cleaning these single prints. Single prints, all from this is all single prints in here. It just happens to line up with a huge major level, so if you break this level, it could just flush. But that's really all I see as far as the short. And again, cause there's big news coming tomorrow, I could see easily price doing this, coming here, coming here, coming here, and then just bouncing, waiting for CPI. That's always a door number 3, because, and that would be bullish. But then you got the CPI, so we don't know what's going to happen. You know, that news trumps every technical thing you can think of. Okay. Now, one thing I wanted to leave you with. All right, I'm gonna put my watches up here while I change charts, just to give you a little scope of what I'm seeing here. On the 1-hour charts. So this is just the ES. And you notice from this move down, right, the 61.8, which is around 41.51, is this area, right? So that's what's been resistant. And I always say that the 61.8 is the last line of defense for a retracement. If it can't hold it, it usually retraces 100%. But that in the ES, that has not been able to really hold above it, right? We're below it right now, below this major level. Okay, so the next move here, you can see it's building this little bit of value here. This is right now, what is that on? The 50% Fibonacci. Around 41.32. That's the 50% Fibonacci of this move. So if we move back down, you can see here, right? These are the single. See that just one-way movement? That's why we could possibly move down here. Okay. Now you'll see the converse with the NASDAQ. You'll see it right away. Okay. And there's a pattern here that I don't talk a ton about patterns a lot, but there is a pattern. Okay, now look at the NASDAQ. This is from here, this low, came all the way up here. It's the reverse. So it came all the way up here. Now look where we retraced to the 61.8, the last line of defense. 130.17, couldn't hold. Then we moved up. There's the 50% Fibonacci, right? That was where this move came. Now we're holding these higher prices, just like I said, right? Above the key levels. So here's the pattern. It's an inverse head and shoulders. That's why I feel we possibly could move up a little bit higher today and then maybe correct a little bit. So what do we have here in the inverse head and shoulders? So we have our neckline is here, That's the major level of resistance, 133.58, right? That's our neckline. Then you got a shoulder and a shoulder. Then the head, right? So this is what I was talking about here. So see this liquidity here from the overnight. See how everybody's short? And we're in a demand zone holding the most traded price of yesterday. And you always need liquidity to fuel trades. So these are all short. It's 100% net short overnight. So that's why I said I'd like to see the market push down to yesterday's lows, find some ground, and see if it could move up, right? Because if it knocks on this door again, you could get the move. And then you could get a little bit of a pullback for tomorrow. So I hope that makes sense to everybody on a candlestick chart, because we've come up here once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 8 times. Now we have our liquidity here. Who's going to be hurt here if they start moving up? All these shorts. Okay? Maybe that was clearer to you guys. I just wanted to make sure what I'm seeing. Okay? Hopefully that made sense to everybody. All right, now I've been doing my midday updates. Hopefully you guys are seeing those. If not, they help me. Not even sure if I've got a viewer right now or not, but hopefully today you're patient. We got big news coming tomorrow. If there's a setup, you take it. If there's no setup, you don't take it, right? Of course, appreciate it if you guys can give me a like, big thumbs up. Okay, subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new, welcome. And you got my Twitter handles there. Oh, there you go. There's my man. And so yeah. So let's today be patient. You got our plan. I really like that NASDAQ. I wouldn't say it's a high probability with that breakout to the upside, but I do like that a lot. You know, I'd like to see Tesla getting gear. Obviously, I don't want to see that much weakness in Tesla and NVIDIA. But Tesla just needs to hold 170. And right now, it's right at there. That's a huge gamma level, 170. So if that holds, NVIDIA needs to, I would like to see NVIDIA hold above 290. That's been resistance. That's a positive gamma level as well. If that can take 290, Tesla can hold 170. Then I would like to see if we could possibly get that breakout in the NASDAQ. All right. Also looking at BABA. BABA's showing some weakness right now. It dipped below its flip point, gamma flip point. So that's holding below 81. I want to see that back above 81. What else was I looking at? Google's still holding strong. It's at 108. AMD made a monster move yesterday. So did Netflix. Netflix is 330 is a big level, and Netflix needs to hold. AMD 95 is a big gamma level, and it's holding it. Okay, so that's about it for me. I will do a midday update again today. Hopefully you guys see those. If I make another trade, I'll do another reel like I did in Google yesterday, my long in Google. And wish everybody we stay green today. Stay patient. Right? Don't force anything on the market. And I'll check in with you guys later. All right, so everybody have a good day.